very warm welcome to IDFC First Bank Presents Leaders of Tomorrow Season 13. I'm Ritwika Gupta. Tonight we dive into bold ideas reshaping how young India travels and the future of premium electric mobility. I first sit down with Dharamveer Singh Chouhan, co-founder and CEO of Zostel and Zo World, to talk about innovation and grit in the travel and hospitality space. From building Zostel to now venturing into Web3, we decode what's next for the sector. And in the second segment, we explore where India's EV story is headed in a conversation with Milind Shah, CMO, MG Select. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, Dharamveer. It's a pleasure to have you on the show today.
Thank you, Ritwika. Thank you for the invite. Pleasure to be here.
Now, to begin with, Dharamveer, you built Zostel into a much-loved travel brand. It wasn't just a business idea. It helped define a new way for young India to travel. What inspired you to build it, and how would you describe your journey as a founder so far?
I was born in Jodhpur, and my family was in a budget hotel business. So I had very early on decided that I will never enter hotel industry. I will hated the real estate, the most boring industry that I could possibly figure out. Things changed during one of my internship towards the end of my IT days in third year. I was in the southern part of Germany in Karlsruhe. And the whole idea was to travel around Europe and explore. And during these times, I first time touched a backpacker hostel. And fundamentally, there was an epiphany. It was way different hospitality that I had ever seen. And this was 2011. And after IIT, I went to IIM. And over there, I kept discussing with my friends and everybody that, hey, this is not in India. We did a lot of research. And after a while, made some money playing poker, started the first one in Jodhpur. And purely, out of love more than any business model, etc. Then we thought that we had to do this experiment and see how it goes. And, from that love, lots of founders and friends all joined along. And so even today, the business has been very community-led more than anything else.
Dharamveer, you are operating in one of the most dynamic and unpredictable sectors, travel. How does a business in this industry stay resilient in an age of economic volatility and global uncertainty?
That's one perspective. I feel very excited to be in the travel segment. I think humanity is heading towards that direction in which we are going to travel a lot more. I see an homogeneity, in the whole of our planet Earth, and the challenges that we face, be it climate change, be it AI, the kind of new work. I think humanity is going to travel a lot more. And particularly in India itself, we see our per capita GDP, reaching that phase that people are now investing in themselves. They want to explore, they want to travel. And all of that is happening on a regular basis, and I think that dynamism adds that whole excitement. And we like to be on the frontiers.
Now, Zostel has always been youth-focused and community-driven. How have you seen consumer behavior shift among young Indian travelers in recent years?
I think the young people are traveling a lot more. So what has happened with us over the last 12 years is that people who Zosteled, let's say 12 years ago, they have now grown up. They have lots of case studies, people finding their love life. They're getting married with other people that they are traveling with, having kids, So our product has also evolved with Zostel Plus, Zostel Homes, where we also host families. On the youth level, what we are seeing is that the trend has really exploded. I think, obviously, there's a cause and effect that, we built Zostels and the whole industry came forward, to today we have almost 40 to 50,000, backpacker beds independently run. We open source the whole industry. It runs on very decent margins. And so in that fashion, I think the youth is traveling a lot more in an unprecedented rate, as compared to our trends. And we are very happy to play our small part and keep unlocking India for everybody to explore fearlessly.
Now, you spoke about Zostel Plus, and earlier this year, Zostel also amped up its luxury hostel game with Zostel Plus. So tell us more.
So as I was telling that, we just stick very close to customers, and we have seen the market evolve. People love traveling. The backpacker of the 80s used to travel with a Lonely Planet book. They used to come, they used to write their experiences, check out the local places that they wanted to go. Now that we see that, especially in India, the costs, etc., are such that you can actually have even serviced affordable services while keeping your effective cost of a travel experience very less. So backpacker has hostels have evolved, sort of like a flashpacker in which you have a lot of services, not just internet, etc. That's always been there in hostels, but even room services at times. And we are unlocking those factors for young people to invest in tips, etc. We feel that even those who are serving, the operation aspect of Zostel, they are all part of the community. We really enjoy serving, making sure that everyone's having a good time. And that's it. That's what makes Zostel, or for that matter, any backpacker hostel, I will say, special.
Now, Dharamveer, tell us, what do you think are the biggest opportunities for travel startups and MSMEs in India?
I think the bar is fairly low. I think India itself has to keep working on our image. We had an incredible India campaign, let's say, a few couple of decades back, and since then, I think the land of spirituality, I think we haven't, the more people on ground keep giving great service, I don't see how the number of travelers who are coming to India, they can explode so much more. The amount of growth, the opportunity that we have as a nation, to be the next Europe. We see youth traveling so much more towards Thailand, and Zostel has really unlocked that whole backpacker potential. And I'm very hopeful that a lot more people are going to travel over here. Anything that you do towards a customer, towards making sure they have a good service, is fundamentally a great opportunity. And though I will say that, AI, etc., tech is one thing, but in travel, there is a lot of reality, in which of, buses, there's a lot of great buses startups that's happening. That's unlocking a lot of new destinations. India is in that phase of, new highways, airports coming up. So very exciting destinations on that front. People are traveling a lot more international. So, there's a lot of exciting space in the visa startup scenes. Affordable flights, wherever people can travel, youth can travel. That's an exciting space. So I'm very excited, and I'm seeing good activity in the travel space.
And what's your take on where or what India's startup ecosystem still lacks?
Fairly nascent. We are growing up. The first waves of IPOs has happened, so that's been the exciting thing, I think, over the last couple of years. In that fashion, I'll say that, we are yet to have a global consumer brand. But I think these innovations that are happening in India, very soon as, probably Indian markets mature, there might be technologies and solutions that are from here that might be exported around, maybe in the developing markets a lot more. And even other than that, what a global consumer brand, in that fashion, if it emerges on a digital front, should be very exciting. When I still open my phone app, I see a lot of Facebook, Instagram, Google, ChatGPT, and Reddit, LinkedIn. So, so I feel if there is a globalized world, would love to have a billion user or even, let's say, 100 million, let's say an Airbnb scale company that's operating on a global level from India.
Now, Dharamveer, you have also stepped into the Web3 space with Zo World. Could you tell us what Zo World is all about and what's the key problem you're aiming to solve through this new venture?
See, mostly the Web3 aspect we use for loyalty, more than anything else. It's, how do you give back to the community? So I think the top tier, rather than having our own database, we are keeping it on a decentralized ledger, at least have a foot in the door on the edge of technologies. And the things have beautifully matured on that front. I'll say that, that community now today has 500 founders, so Zo World is a new age accelerator. And I think Zo World has really emerged as a natural community, from Bangalore to Dubai to San Francisco, entrepreneurs who are building a lot of cool AI stuff, hardware stuff, and just learning from each other, from GTM to various different things. So I'm very excited. I think it's a new take on Y Combinator itself, from a different standpoint. How do you enable a new age people? So I'm very excited to open it up to more entrepreneurs in India. So Zo World is our, Zostel's accelerator, incubator, sort of like a new thing.
Great. And finally, if you had to leave our viewers and entrepreneurs with one mantra on building and scaling in uncertain times, what would it be?
I think the solutions are mostly in front of you, and but you make a lot of plans and you lose the lose the moment a lot of times, so I think just as much as possible be true to yourself, why you are doing what you are doing. And if you have that worked out, I think uh, and you can really be in the place that you are, and I know it sounds a bit philosophical, but I've repeatedly seen that solutions are mostly in front of you. And keep going, man. Keep going. If you're doing what's fun, it doesn't look like work. And if it's not work, it's play. And if it's not play, you can possibly take a distance and see why isn't, is it what you really want to do. Find yourself, and then real creation and everything will happen. I and Zostel, we are from that side that, businesses will be built, once you discover what you are, being an entrepreneur, or being an artist or being a creator, everything else follows naturally.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for your time, Dharamveer. It was lovely chatting with you.
Lovely chatting, Ritwika, and yeah, wishing everybody super best.
It's time for a quick break here. We'll be back shortly. Stay tuned. Welcome back to IDFC First Bank Presents Leaders of Tomorrow Season 13. In this segment, I chat with Milind Shah, CMO MG Select, on how MG Select is fitting into India's evolving mobility narrative and marking a strategic move into the country's premium EV landscape. Listen in. Thank you, Milind, for joining us today on ET Now Leaders of Tomorrow.
Thank you for inviting me on the show, Ritwika.
So, Milind, earlier this year, JSW MG Motor made headlines with its foray into its accessible luxury EV segment, a big move in India's mobility evolution. So tell us, what does accessible luxury mean for MG, and how are you shaping the story through MG Select?
Luxury for MG Select is a philosophy which is minded with the belief that, the exclusive ownership as well as the high-end products should not be limited to selected few. What we did in back in September 2024, we announced our new channel called MG Select, which is a dedicated luxury channel which will offer high-end products, a high-end experience, which is for the discerning customers in today's time who are looking for exclusive experiences. So for us, MG Select is a experiential luxury, which in today's time customer wants to come and enjoy the lifestyle of what luxury brands are all about. For them, the owning the product is the enabler to enter into this life. And that's what we have taken the approach with the MG Select. Our offering to start with the MG Select will be two inaugural high-end products, which is the M9 is the presidential limousine, and the second product, which will be the MG Cyberster. It's the world fastest MG Roadster. Both are electric, both are high on, you can say, new energy vehicle, and it's designed to make sure it meets the aspiration and desire of the discerning customers, which in today's time, people look from the brand.
Milind, you are leading MG Select's entry into India's premium electric vehicle space. What market insights shaped your early brand positioning?
So in last 5 years, what we have seen is there has been high growth in the luxury segment. And when we talk about the luxury segment, I'm considering entire lifestyle, which is clothing, watch, lifestyle brands, even automobile. So luxury automobile in last 5 years has seen a two-digit or double-digit growth. In fact, the volume which used to be just 20,000 merely 5 years back, in today's time, it's close to 51,000. This growing trend and the growing high income affluence community in our country has made us believe that this is the right approach to go forward and cater to the customers who are looking for the experiential luxury. And if you see from a data point as well, see in EV segment specifically, in mass market, I understand the segment is very small, it's just 4%. But in the luxury segment, the EV holds close to nearly 11% of the market size. So the discerning high-end customers have understood the value and the new age lifestyle of what EV or new energy vehicle provides them. And we see there is a huge potential for us also to come with a disruptive product which can help our us also to enable our customer need and give them more reasons to live the luxury life.
So, how do you balance aspirational storytelling with practical value propositions for price aware Indian consumers?
It's a, to be honest, it's a fine balance between the two. We cannot leave the aspiration and we cannot leave the value proposition. I won't say it has to be cheap or it has to be very down, but the overall, I would say the way MG Select personality is, we are focusing more on experiences. And one of the example when I talk about the experiences is our entire experiential center, which will open up in 13 cities. This center is completely inspired and designed from keeping the art gallery in the perspective. But at the same time, the entire look and feel is going to be very minimalistic. We are taking care of all the human senses, which we think, which is what the luxury appeals to all our audience in terms of the way the thing look around, the smell inside the showroom, the entire offering, the experience. How do we humanize? Luxury is all about experience.
Sure.
And if we are able to deliver the experience to the customer, you have won the battle of aspiration versus the value rational. Aspiration equals to experiential luxury. That's what we believe. And experiential luxury equals to a overall value proposition in terms of emotion delivery.
Now, speaking of the big picture, how can India's auto industry harness lead in the global auto manufacturing space? How can we fully unlock our potential through tech and innovation?
There are many ways. First, to start with, we need to start with a robust, strong long-term policies from the government. The second thing is the entire value chain. Uh, our infra, which if you see right now, many of the areas we have not planned in a proper way, but we need to start planning the infrastructure in a way that manufacturers get more and more benefit in terms of setting up new plants. The third and the most important thing is the technology. We need to, as the country as well as the OEM, need to invest a lot in future technologies, AI-driven solutions. The more and more we invest in R&D right now, it will help us to grow better and better and unlock our potential in creating India as a hub for the future tech or the future automobile space.
Now, with OEMs vying for urban users and shared mobility, where do you see MG Select's sweet spot? And how do MSMEs figure into that ecosystem?
Let me address your first part. At MG, we have been always believing in taking very innovative step forward. Our India journey in last 7 years, if you see, has been purely a auto tech journey. We started the journey with internet car, the Hector, that gave our entire consumers a reason to have an internet inside the car. And most of the, you can see the offerings in today's market are coming with internet. Our second offering was electric. Third offering was autonomous. Fourth offering was AI. So what I'm trying to say here is we have always taken an innovative step forward. And with MG Select, we are taking this journey way ahead. We are creating a new space altogether where luxury has a new definition and which talks to the new age customer, not only from a product point of view, but from the overall experience point of view. And our storytelling will be more of experiential rather than advertising. Here, each and everything is designed for elevated experience to the elitist few in the market. And our approach with the new energy vehicle has the priority will keep us a notch higher. From day one, we've been always believing in many like a startup culture, and we've been investing in many smaller startups and
Sure.
giving them opportunity to work with us also to create new solutions. eHub is one of the latest example last year we released, which is bringing the entire charging ecosystem in one place. The only one thing which I can tell to all the startup entrepreneurs and the individuals, we need to keep thinking. We need to keep investing in new ideas. We may fail, that's fine. But till the time, if we can't try, experiment, bring new solutions, then only we can make this the entire EV lifestyle, or I would say the new technology lifestyle, more possible, enabling to the consumers. Otherwise, it's very difficult.
So, Milind, what advice would you offer MSMEs or local dealers about marketing auto or electric mobility to regional or tier 2 consumers?
First thing which all of us in tier 2 and tier 3 also we need to start learning is advertising will do only a 5% or 10% of the job. The remaining 90% of the job is, first thing is, you need to understand what's happening in your market. Tier 2 and tier 3 is really unlocking their potential in terms of spending. They have all the potential. In fact, I would say down the line they will have more potential even than the tier 1. For that, what our dealers and other partners needs to start doing is, first is understand what's happening in the city, understand what customers are really looking for, then go with the approach which is tailor made for the audience which they are targeting, and go with the approach where the customers get opportunity for look, touch and feel. That's the best way they will be able to really change the game from being just selling and coming to the offering and enabling the journey from customer needs to customer want.
And one last question before I let you go, Milind. This season, the theme for our show is Agility, Ambition, Ascent. Now, in India's fast evolving mobility space, shaped by electrification, new consumer demands, and global disruptions, how do you personally define these three qualities when it comes to building MG Select?
Let's start with agility. Our ability to build a brand MG Select within a year, listening to the market and acting quickly. That's something I would say agility is at MG in totality. Coming to the ambition, our ambition is to reshape the global perception of what luxury really means to the customer. And by bringing MG Select with the new age solution, which is not only from a mobility point of view, but also from overall package, which is where customers have a complete value proposition, which is inspired from the global
Sure.
aspiration of the brands and giving them a new reason to live the era of luxury. That's our ambition. And coming to the ascent, in our journey with MG Select, we are not just selling EVs, or we are not just selling luxury car. We are building a brand that reflects India is headed towards a bold, self-assured, and ready to set the tone for making something really big in the global market.
Well, all the best to you. This was a wonderful conversation. Thank you so much for joining us, Milind.
Thank you so much, Ritwika. Thank you for your time as well.
And with that, it's a wrap on this edition of IDFC First Bank Presents Leaders of Tomorrow Season 13. We hope you enjoyed the conversations. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.